Oh my god, this is terrible. Ugh. Hello everyone! Welcome to Spicewood Cinema Club at the Bedroom Cinema. I've got nobody to talk to, and today I'm talking about Maggie Gyllenhaal's feature directorial debut, The Lost Daughter. This 2-hour psychological drama follows a middle-aged British woman named Leda while on her solo vacation in Italy. When Leda encounters a young mother, Nina, she starts to look back on her own memories of young motherhood, all while getting way too familiar with Nina and her daughter. Sadness, regrets, and horrifyingly bad decisions ensue in what is going to be a career-defining first feature in Maggie Gyllenhaal's filmography. Wow, what a wacky movie. I'm kidding. This is a great film to start off the new year. Has a good cast, great music, and the cinematography is really good as well, but there is one nitpick I have that I'll get into later. Olivia Colman is extraordinary in this role as the middle-aged Leda. She has a lot of scenes where she's carrying the movie with just her physical acting alone, no dialogue required. I honestly think this is one of the rare instances where a movie can get seen just because of the star that they have in the film. Just to compare, The Last Duel, which nobody saw, masterpiece, by the way, had huge star power.
That is the second time you do not call me sir.
But I watched this one with some friends and family just on the fact that it starred Olivia alone. But the character she plays is shared with another actress, Jessie Buckley. She plays the younger Leda and has the raw scenes to deal with. Just a full spectrum of unyassified motherhood. It's a role put on two sides of a coin, which Coleman and Buckley complement each other so well. If either of them had not delivered as they had, or they had casted different people in their roles, I don't think this movie would hit the way it does. Bravo to Colleen Crawford and Maggie for those choices. Dakota Johnson is really fantastic in her role as Nina, the young mother that Leda gets involved with. Her gaze is soul-piercing and inquisitive, her presence wrapped in seduction and temptation, but the early fatigues of motherhood and spousal burnout are always on the edges of her wrinkles and voice. The best role Dakota has done so far, and I would love to see her get more of these. The rest of the cast is great as well, never feeling out of place, even right down to the extras. Ed Harris's Lyle, the caretaker of this little resort that Leda stays at, is great. He is in 10%, maybe even less of the film, but he delivers this pitch-perfect performance that's kind of sad, weird, and warm all at once. Alright, we're getting into the meat and potatoes here. So, spoilers. Nina is such a mirror for Leda, but the reflection isn't a one-to-one match. There's a lot for them to relate to with each other, but the differences for each of them is night and day. Nina is in an abusive marriage to a man whose family is described as dangerous, mafia-esque.
We don't do things like that anymore.
Why?
Because they're bad people.
You can understand why Nina would question her place in that situation, or why she would be having an affair, or just piecing out altogether. Leda, however, comes at this from the opposite end of the spectrum. She isn't a victim to the same things that Nina is. Her marriage is fine. Her kids are kids. Leda treats her situation as if she's the only one having to shoulder the burden of being a pillar in the family, while blaming her kids and husband for stealing her youth and ambitions, which she punishes them for by abandoning them outright for several years. Leda is the abuser. She's just a mean person who plays games with people. The story here is dealing in the ambivalence of motherhood on the surface, but underneath, this is really the story about a woman who starts to take inventory of her life, only to realize all too late that she's just rotten. There are several visual metaphors to complement this. There's a fruit bowl that's gone bad, a wounded cicada, the dirty doll she steals, even Leda herself is bruising at the drop of a pine cone. She tries to brush off her abandonment of her children and cucking her husband as not a big deal, just a pothole in life, something you get over with time. All the while, she's having bouts of paranoia, fainting, and just having meltdowns on strangers. This woman is having a full-body realization of just how messed up she is. There's only one memory we get where an explanation is given, and it has to do with Leda's issues with her mother. There's no details made, just a suggestion of a generational passing on of the abuse torch. That was a rough scene, by the way. It was really well done, though. This film gave me a lot to think about in regards to abandonment, estrangement, and toxicity in others as well as ourselves. The differences between how we retract our social currency from others as a healthy protection versus as a weapon of spite and malice. This isn't a film that requires you like the character at the center, but to watch them as they judge themselves with a clear perspective for the first time in their lives. I really enjoyed this film, but my only nitpick is that it felt longer than its 2-hour runtime. I think it had to do with the cinematography choice to stay so tightly framed on all the actors throughout the entire duration of the film, with the exception of the ending shot. This works in service of the intimate nature of the film, but I just felt it dragged about halfway through. Did anybody else feel this way, or am I alone on that? Well, go treat yourself to some adult cinema and check out The Lost Daughter. I've got nobody to talk to, and I'll see you next time on the Spicewood Cinema Club.